into my twisted world where heroes will collide. Villains aren't the only evil, there are no fucking sides. Every match will test their stats, every loss and win are weighed. Any chance they thought they had could all end up in vain on Combo Breaker.
The internet! What an interesting place where people can share their ideas and have fun. And today's Suit Fighters are the best to come out of the internet. And the best part is, they're known for the color red. And unlike other internet creations like Sonic fan characters, these ones are actually kind of cool and fun. I'm of course talking about Ruby Rose, the leader of Team RWBY, and Red, the obnoxious Toon Force powerhouse from Dick Figures. Ah yes, Ruby Rose. She's an interesting character to say the least. On one hand, she's a super fast killing machine who uses her brutal scythe to murder giant monsters. On the other hand though, she's a super hyper fangirl who's kind of obsessed with being a huntress. Yeah, she's really fucking weird, but also adorable, so I guess that makes up for it. So, RWBY has two major powers we need to talk about. First is her semblance. This allows her to move at super fast speeds. Yeah, her semblance gives her straight up Sonic speed. And I just realized I made a Sonic OC joke in the intro. That's a complete coincidence, but that's fucking funny. Anyway, she also has her Silver Eyes. With this power, she can unleash a powerful wave that freezes opponents in place. Just one major problem with this. You see, she kinda has to be under intense emotional stress for this to actually work. Yeah, it makes it incredibly difficult to rely on, let alone be a winning edge. Not to mention she can't just spam the ever-loving shit out of it, unlike the fucking Hadokens in Street Fighter. I swear to God, if I hear the word Hadoken, or Sonic Boom, or any sort of projectile ever again, I'm gonna go ape shit. Just always spamming you, there's no way to get around it, you know? It's annoying, and it's cheap, and it takes no skill. Now on to RWBY's weapon, the Crescent Rose. An amazing combination of a scythe and a sniper rifle. This allows her to do some pretty fucking brutal attacks, like putting her scythe blade on a creature's neck and then firing the sniper off to decapitate the creature in a brutal fashion. Not only can RWBY hack and slash her way through hordes of opponents, but she can also shoot sniper rounds from this scythe to hit things from afar. But these aren't just normal sniper shots. Yes, while she does have normal sniper bullets to fire off, she can enhance these shots with dust, add an elemental effect to these shots, such as fire, ice, electricity, and a few others that are a lot less useful. Man, this weapon reminds me of my favorite weapon, the Face Breaker, a beautiful combination of a chainsaw, a Gatling gun, and fireworks. Yeah, it's not very legal and I can't use it very often, but when I do, it brings mass destruction. That's enough about my weapon. Let's talk about what RWBY has actually accomplished. Now, she's actually pretty strong. She was able to take down Nevermore with her scythe, she's easily slashed through other Grims before in a single slash, and she's kicked a Griffin so hard and knocked her to the ground behind her, causing an explosion. She's blocked strikes from Berenguel, who could collapse the roof of a huge church on a whim. Plus, she should be around the same level as her teammates who have done other similar feats, like taking down giant robots and other huge Grims. RWBY is fast enough to catch Neapolitan off guard. She's escaped Mercury Black. Plus, she's shown the speeds to run up fucking 90-degree angles. That shouldn't even be possible. But if you think that's stupid, pay attention to these next two feats. She was able to run fast enough that it made a vortex that sucked in all the food during a food fight and then launched it all back out in just a destructive wave. Yeah, but even more impressive is when she killed a series of Grims before the shells of her bullets hit the ground. There was a lot of Grims in the area, and that's an incredibly impressive feat. RWBY's also rather durable. She survived hits from Mercury Black, and she took a hit from Nora with little to no damage. Keep in mind, Nora's using a huge hammer that's also a fucking grenade launcher. Yeah. She's also endured attacks from Nuclave, who previously took the combined effort of Team Juniper to defeat. Not to mention, she took a direct punch from Berenguel. You know, that thing I mentioned earlier that could collapse the entire, church roof? Yeah. RWBY's also a highly trained huntress and a scythe master, known for her just vicious, brutal fighting style, where she can decapitate things on a whim. But she's really fucking stupid. Yeah, while she is an absolute badass in combat and absolutely adorable, she lacks book smarts. And I mean this literally. At one point, one of the characters mentioned her power was to manipulate polarity. RWBY immediately thought this was the ability to manipulate poles. Yeah, she's not very smart. And don't think she's perfect either. She's actually kind of a shitty fighter without her scythe. She lacks any sort of hand-to-hand combat. And like I said earlier, her Silver Eyes require immense emotional stress, and she has limited dust she can use, so not every shot she fires can have an elemental effect. But no matter what though, you should never get in her way when she's on the hunt.
You sound like Dad. Okay, first of all, what does meeting people have to do with fighting? And secondly, I don't need people to help me grow up. I drink milk.
Yes, dick figures. That show's actually freaking hilarious. It's on YouTube, and if you haven't seen it, you need to go check it out. But before you do that, watch this episode. So Red is the ultra-violent, super kick-ass protagonist, and I've been rambling on for a bit too long on this little intro. So let's go ahead and talk about his kick-ass arsenal of powers and weapons. And yeah, he's got a crazy-ass power set and arsenal. Over the series, he's used a large array of weapons like baseball bats, shotguns, chainsaws, swords, lightsabers, assault rifles, a bag of chips. Yes, he killed a zombie, actually a couple with a bag of chips. He's also used ninja stars, a handgun, a throwing axe, a flamethrower, and so much more. But he's also incredibly deadly with his bare hands, or even an opponent's limb, like that time he killed several ninjas with another ninja's leg. Yeah. When it comes to superpowers, Red can instantly create a Batman costume around him. He can freaking fly and fire lasers from his eyes and hands. Plus, he can fire a Kamehameha, just like Goku, or myself. Although I've been told I shouldn't do that anymore, probably due to all the holes in the house. He's a literal chick magnet, meaning he can attract any girl both by choice or even just by being near them. Damn, I don't even have that kind of game. And if he concentrates hard enough, he can send out a pulse from his brain that causes the opponents hit by it to have their heads fucking explode. Yeah, that reminds me why I don't use that power anymore. It was a sad day on Sesame Street. I feel really bad for Super Grover and Big Bird. They all couldn't escape the massacre. I'm sorry, I didn't know what the power did. Oh, traumatizing memories aside, let's get back to Red. He's a master of using the environment as a weapon. He can break the fourth wall, and most impressively, he has ungodly luck. He was once able to walk through a dungeon filled with traps and didn't even know there were traps until he got out and saw, well, his friend Blue murdered and just destroyed. Not to mention, he can use anything as a weapon, just like Frank West. But wait, there's even more. He has immense toon force, and he's done things like used a shotgun as a rifle before. Oh, and he can eat anything, like that time he ate barbed wire and then chased it down with his own piss. Ah, man, I feel bad for his digestive system. That can't be doing good for his body. But then again, he's a stick figure. Does he have vital organs? Okay, this is giving me a headache. Somebody explain that to me in the comments section. But let's get into what Red's actually capable of. He's strong enough to rip a man in half with his bare hands, decapitate a zombie with a bag of chips. He's thrown a shotgun through a man's skull, and in the first grade, he destroyed a bridge by throwing a baseball bat at it and caved in a jungle gym with a single punch. He's lifted a whole hat factory with ease. Plus, he's high-fived his best friend so hard it destroyed 19 city blocks. But that's not even the most impressive thing, as he once had sex with a girl using so much force, it created an explosion so large it was visible from fucking space. Not to mention, he killed all the dinosaurs on his fucking own. Red is also stupidly fast. He's dodged gunfire before, and he once threw a shotgun through the air, and while he was spinning, he drew his handgun, shot the trigger of the shotgun with his pistol, blew off the man's head, and then caught the shotgun as it rebounded back to him. I did something similar to that once, although I shot a rifle out of the air with an RPG, and it kinda caused a rhino to explode. As you can imagine, they've banned me from the zoo for, I think they said 16 lifetimes. Yeah. Red is fast enough to fight 37 ninjas all at once and win the fight. He's had sex with 4 girls in under 10 seconds. He's managed to pilot a spaceship through a space dogfight through like lasers and shit. I mean, I pilot spaceships like that all the time, but it's impressive in this case because he's a fucking idiot. But I'll get to that in a little bit. Red is also durable as all hell. He survived a fall from a helicopter through a store roof unscathed without a parachute. For a frame of reference, a helicopter's average cruising altitude is about 8,000 feet. He's also survived similar falls all the time. He's also survived an explosion from a high five that destroyed 19th city block, and he survived that big blast created when he had sex with that one girl. Plus he survived so much more, like wearing a bear trap as a hat, having sex while on fire, falling from space to the earth as a child, like a first grader, and being in the water so cold that froze normal humans in seconds. He was also able to stare at the perfect pair of boobs. This actually hurt the eyes of his friends who could survive the 19th city block explosion and the huge explosion seen from space caused by the sex scene later, like seconds later. He also took a huge meteor to the fucking face, like a boss. Now, when it comes to intelligence, Red falls incredibly flat, because he's a complete fucking idiot. As he thought a bear trap was a hat, he once stole a cop car and then said there's a bank robbery to explain why he was driving so fast in the cop car. Only to then turn out the radio and drive towards the bank, thinking the robbery he just made up was happening. He then proceeded to rob the bank and then convinced the cops that it was okay because he was a cop. And on top of all of that, he once gave himself amnesia, and he's burned down the apartment complex he lived in by playing the electric guitar. There's so many other feats of stupidity, like the fact that he lost his virginity to a tree, or that he's the dad to a slot machine. But at the same time, he's incredibly smart. He's smart enough to escape prison with a spoon. And he used a human leg as a weapon to successfully kill multiple trained ninjas. He can trick police officers by simply saying he's a cop, and so much more. So yes, he's a fucking idiot, but at the same time, he's a fucking genius. This character is so confusing. The anatomy and the fucking intelligence. Is he smart or is he stupid? Ugh. God, this character confuses the hell out of me. And let's talk about his flaws. You see, Red isn't perfect. He's actually a huge pervert. He wants to use 99% of the world's internet to find the perfect pair of boobs. And like I mentioned earlier, he's a total fucking idiot. And despite him surviving huge explosions and dodging bullets all the time, he's actually scared of bullets and believes they'll hurt him. Like, what the hell? While Red may have a low IQ, he more than makes up for this huge arsenal and ridiculous strength. Honestly, if you're gonna fight him, you better be Red E. I don't even know where I was going with this joke. This analysis has, like, fried my brain.
There's a bank robbery happening right now.
There's a bank robbery?
Yeah, a huge one. We're headed there right now, Radio Man. Woo!
Dude, where are you going?
Didn't you hear? There's a bank robbery.
What? No, there's not.
Protect and serve, motherfucker. Everybody, watch out. You're getting robbed. Where's all your money?
Please don't kill me. Please don't make me.
Alright, our combatants are set. Which Red creation of the internet will come out on top in a fight to the death? Ruby is running through a city frantically when she's stopped and pulled towards Red, who's just standing around. Red looks at Ruby and smiles before he attempts to flirt with her. Ruby looks at Red in disgust as she draws her scythe. Ruby then swings her scythe at Red, who ducks under and laughs as she kicks him in the gut. Red bends over in pain as Ruby swings her scythe at Red, hitting him in the head, launching him against the wall of a building. Red then stands back up and looks at Ruby before shooting a laser at her from his eyes. Ruby backflips over the laser and slams her scythe blade into the ground and fires several bullets at Red, who dodges to the side. Each bullet blasts into an elemental explosion at the wall behind Red. Red then runs forward and punches Ruby across the face and follows up with a roundhouse kick to her head. Ruby stumbles back as Red grabs her scythe and spins it around before misfiring behind him, launching him through the air. Ruby then jumps into the air and gut punches him as she grabs her scythe again and slashes Red across the stomach. Red then headbutts Ruby and grabs her by the leg and throws her to the ground, causing a massive crater in the ground. Ruby tries to stand back up as Red comes crashing down and kicks her in the head. Ruby stands up in pain as Red draws back his fist, but Ruby kicks Red in the gut and slashes him across the face and follows up with a sniper shot to his head, causing an electrical explosion, knocking Red to the ground. Ruby then runs over and starts stomping on him and hitting him across the face. As Red stands back up, Ruby then points the sniper sight at his stomach and fires several rounds, launching him back. Red then looks at Ruby and focuses his mind as a pulse launches out and hits Ruby. Ruby looks around confused for a bit before reloading her scythe and pointing it back at Red's head. She goes to click the trigger. Before she can, her head explodes, leaving nothing but a red mist and her body on the ground. Alright, our winner is Red. And, oh dear lord, this was not a fair fight. This is made incredibly clear when we start comparing their strength and durability. Ruby has shown City Block to maybe Multi-City Block if you want to be incredibly generous when it comes to strength and durability. She's done things such as kicked a griffin so hard it exploded, decapitated Nevermore, and took a hit from a monster who could casually shatter the roof of a giant church. But this is nothing compared to Red. Red is strong enough to blow up 19 city blocks with a casual high five. He created an explosion visible from space while having sex with a girl, and he was able to look at the perfect pair of boobs that, despite them hurting his friends who could survive that 19 city block level explosion and that same sex explosion, he was able to stare at them unharmed. He also took a meteor the size of a country to maybe even a continent to the fucking face, and was perfectly fine the next episode. This could put him all the way up to even multi-continental based on the size of the meteor that he took to the face. Yeah, Ruby didn't stand a fucking chance. Essentially, she wouldn't even be able to do minor damage to Red based on how much she's actually survived, and Red would be able to literally one-shot her. So yeah, Red is far above Ruby in strength and durability, but what about speed? Obviously Ruby should have the speed advantage because speed is her specialty, right? Well, Ruby can dodge bullets and fight on par with some super fast Grims, plus she should scale the Blake's lightning dodging feat, making her massively hypersonic. Red, on the other hand, can keep up with laser dodgers. He's dodged bullets and piloted a faster-than-light spaceship through, well, an intergalactic dogfight, making him faster than light. So yeah, Red's faster, stronger, and more durable. Plus he has his hacks like his head explosion wave that could just one-shot Ruby, as if he couldn't already do that physically. Not to mention he's a literal chick magnet, meaning that Ruby couldn't even get far away to use any of her, specialty dust. This gives him a massive advantage because he'll be in close range with Ruby the entire fight. Then take into effect this little bit. So he'll be in close the entire fight with RWBY via a chick magnet, and he's a huge pervert who once spent 99% of the world's internet looking for the perfect pair of boobs. And saying as though one of his best strength feats was having sex, he could literally fuck RWBY to death. Yeah, I know that's a bit morbid, but that's a very likely outcome for this fight. There wasn't much RWBY could do. Her only true advantage would probably be skill and intelligence, and then skill is still debatable, and same with intelligence, as Red is an incredibly skilled fighter, and while he is a dipshit, he's also shown incredible feats of intelligence as well. So RWBY can debatably take skill and intelligence, but that's it. Looks like Red rose to the occasion and kicked Ruby Rose's ass. Our winner is Red.
You're using 99% of the world's internet to download porn? Only 99%? The internet's gonna explode! If I don't see those boobs, my balls are gonna explode! Give me that last 1%, bitch!
Holy shit, don't shoot me!
Do it! You're crazy! Think of the world! Think of the achievements! I want my achievements!
I got both your achievements right here.
Next time on Combo Breaker.
Not he. 2, 3. Long ago, there lived a knight with a lady love / of the night. They roamed the land. It was grand till a fateful day. They roamed astray, and his lady love was sealed away. Alone was he. Oh, but then the land was seized by a league of bad knights, namely these. By this evilness, now an evil light's begun to shine bright. So steal thy shovel and fight. Strike the earth right in its butthole, treasures await. Excavate, you're gonna defy the laws of swords and fishing. Never need bait, just sit and wait. Thrill in your fate. Watch for rats, exploding rats, helicopter rats, and wind-up rats. There's lots of rats. Her Pat can also talk to a 6-foot cock or a knight right out of BioShock, then kick his butt. Journey on and sleep till dawn, have a dream and wake up, woe be gone. Oh, chivalry, where is she? We don't ever know unless you heave-ho to the Tower of Fate you must go. Ghosts abound, so pound them with your balls of light. What a sight! Yes, go and combine the greatest parts of DuckTales and Mega Man, Castlevania, and Zelda 2. Steal thy shovel, it's up to you.
Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. All right, next time we got Steve versus Shovel Knight. Can't believe I'm using a fucking Minecraft character. But hey, Shovel Knight's back, so that's cool. Anyway, let me know your predictions down in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Other things that YouTubers say. Yeah, this is a weird fucking episode. I hope you enjoyed the next match, and let me know what you think about it and who you think's gonna win. Have a great day, guys.